start in child's pose. So when you're ready, come to a child's pose, whatever type of child's pose works for you. It can be a wide-legged child's pose or knees together. You can allow your arms to come alongside you or forward and just settle into some space in your mat, in your mind, in your body. So yesterday I hosted a stay treat at my house, which was amazing. And we did a little mini workshop on the practice of happiness. So that is my theme for the week, is this opportunity that we have. You know, we're comfortable with the concept of practice in other facets of our lives, you know, when it comes to a sport or getting better at a job. We get it. It makes sense. It feels a bit linear too. You know, if you practice more, you're going to improve. And the practice of happiness is a little bit more challenging, a little different. And it's not recognized in the same way as other types of practices. So as we move through our physical practice today, I'm going to give you the 3 steps that are part of the practice of happiness, and we're going to play with those a little bit. So I'm hearing a little noise. I'm just gonna, okay, there we go. So if your arms are down by your side in your child's pose, let's bring the arms forward and spread your fingers and press into each fingertip, and then press into the palms of the hands, and then soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Good. And just let those hips lighten towards the heels even more if you can. And then we'll continue by walking the arms over to the right. So maybe even further than you normally do. You could take your right arm and even almost bring it out perpendicular to your right thigh and sink over into that left side a little bit. So we're just exploring the thoracic and the side, left side body. Just take an extra breath here. So if I have to sum up my quote or my theme in one quote, walk the arms back over to center and then over all the way to the left. And maybe that left arm just even floats back. So you're sinking over into that right hip a little bit. Happiness is an inside job. So we have this opportunity to learn about how we think about things, what's happening, and analyzing it a little bit. Walk your hands back to center, come up onto your hands and knees. Let's arch and round through the spine a few times. So inhale, chest lifts, gaze forward. Exhale, draw the belly in, round, tuck the head. So the 3 steps correlate in some way with some of the karmic principles that I talk about all the time. So step 1 is awareness, right? Becoming aware of what we're thinking about. And it's quite interesting actually, because we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And 98% of them are the thoughts that we had yesterday. So we create storylines or movies or themes, however you want to think about it. And sometimes those are positive, but oftentimes they're like the horror story, right? They're the things that we're trying to figure out, the things that are plaguing us, the things that are stressing us out. So you can understand how we might be creating a practice of unhappiness by spending 98% of our thoughts in that place, trying to solve things that aren't working. So from here, let's come to a neutral spine. And let the left leg reach behind you, flex the foot, and then perhaps the right arm reaches forward. So flex and reach through the fingers. As you exhale, we're gonna draw the knee and the elbow together and curl it in. And then as you inhale, we're gonna lengthen. And exhale, curl it in and round. So awareness is first. We're just connecting, and it works the same way in the body, right? We might spend 98% of our practice focusing on the couple things that aren't working, or the thing that hurts, or the thing that doesn't feel the way we want it to. And 2% of the practice feeling good. And that might be an exaggeration, and hopefully it is, but the opportunity we have is to shift that percentage, right? Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's 60-40 happy thoughts, right? One more, exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen, set the right hand down. Sweep that right foot back like a kickstand. Ground into the left leg, lift the left arm up. Let's float that all the way over the ear. Soften through your left shoulder. Press into that left foot. And then we're actually going to come on up. So you're going to use the left foot, the right knee, hands are at the hips. Slide your left hand down that back leg. Let the right arm come up and over. So again, we're getting nice access to the side body. Good. And then as you exhale, windmill the hands down and bring your knees and your hands back to hands and knees. So now we're going to bring the right leg behind us, flex the foot, left arm reaches forward. So first is awareness, right? Becoming aware of what are the themes in the mind, what are we thinking about on our mat as you exhale around. Are those thoughts that serve us, that create a practice of happiness, or are we sort of dwelling in the horror story theme? Exhale around. And more now than ever, it's easy to understand why we could do that. Right? There's a lot to worry about and think about, and there's lots of stuff we can't control. Round. And again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we're gonna round. Last one, inhale it forward. Exhale, squeeze it in. And then as we lengthen here, set the left hand down, swing the right foot back behind you. Left foot behind you, plant the right leg, and lift that right arm up to the sky. Maybe we're gonna float it over the ear. So awareness is first, and then it's analysis. So once we see the thoughts, once we see the movie that we're starring in, once we understand the 98% repetition in our thoughts, then we get to analyze a little more deeply. Bring your hands up to your hips, float your right hand down, let your left arm reach up and over, soften into that right side. And then windmill the hands down. We'll come back to our hands and knees. And then from here, it's going to be chest and chin. So bend your elbows and let your chest and chin lower to the mat. So awareness is first, then it's analysis. Right? What do I need to see in the thoughts? What's the message? What's the underlying thing? Right? Straighten the legs, press into the hands, lift the chest, roll your shoulder blades together. So it's, what is the theme here? Because sometimes we have lots and lots of thoughts that all sort of come back to one underlying fear or concern or anxiety or sadness, right? Slowly lower down. Inhale, we're gonna press up into our hands and knees, and let's roll it back to child's pose for a moment. Keep the arms long. Head might soften to the floor. Breathe here, child's pose. So the opportunity exists for us to do a little bit of analysis. What is the movie that we're playing in our minds that stars us? And is it making us unhappy? And then the third piece is acceptance. So it's awareness, analysis, acceptance. And we're going to practice that on the mat. You're going to become aware of what you notice in the body. What are you fixating on? Typically, it's something that doesn't feel good as opposed to something that feels awesome. And then it's analysis. Why? What is it? Am I afraid I'm never going to feel better again? Am I afraid that this means something else? What am I afraid of? What am I holding on to? And then acceptance. This is where I am today, and I need to let it go, right? Happiness is an inside job. So from here, travel into a downward dog, pedaling it back, side to side, bend the knees, shift things around. Good. And then we're gonna roll into a plank. So as you inhale, roll forward into plank. And then as you exhale, roll right back to downward dog. And again, inhale, roll forward into plank. Good job, guys. And then exhale, roll back to downward dog. So third time, we're gonna roll forward to plank. And then we're gonna stack the ankles to the right. So just stack the ankles, keep the hands in plank. Inhale back to center, exhale, stack the ankles over to the left. Inhale back to center. If you can, we're gonna stack over to the right again. Back to center and exhale over to the left again. Inhale back to center. Now we'll lower all the way to the mat. So you can use your knees or you can come all the way down. Flatten onto the tops of the feet. As you inhale, press into the hands, shoulders are soft, gaze is forward. And then as you exhale, curl the toes under and press back to downward dog, 5 breaths here. So we're taking our 5 breaths. Spread actively into the hands, press towards the heels, soften into the shoulders, and become aware of the story in the mind, the movie that stars us. So there's this funny concept, right? So we all know what it's like when we're trying to get somewhere and we're in traffic. Start to walk your feet towards your hands, right? We're trying to get somewhere, we're in traffic. Bend your knees, let your chest line on your thighs, hug your arms behind you, let your head go. And everybody else around you is the traffic, right? In your mind. But we don't think of ourselves as part of the traffic. We just think of everyone else as the traffic, except for us. Well, that's just an example of how we see the world, right? How we have this movie that we star in. And it's the same, often the same movie, let the arms go, roll all the way up, that plays over and over in the mind. And we get to choose the narrative of that movie, the theme, the storyline. We get to choose. Are we gonna have it be a horror film? Or are we gonna have it be a romantic comedy? What's it gonna be? Ground into the feet. Inhale, bring the arms all the way around and up. And then as you exhale, forward fold, hinge and fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Maybe it's going to be a drama with a happy ending, right? Plant the hands, step back to plank, and exhale, chaturanga. So what are the thoughts that are making up the theme of your movie? Exhale it back, downward dog. We know it's the same basic movie every day. So we get to choose what we watch, what we say, what we think, how we think, using awareness, analysis, and acceptance. As you inhale, come high on the toes. As you exhale, bend your knees, hop, step, or float the feet to the hands. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold, let the head go. Inhale, bring the arms all the way around and up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Okay, so Namaskar A again. So inhale, bring the arms around and up. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, find your flat back here. So hands to the shins or fingertips to the floor, beautiful. And then exhale, steps you back to your plank. Hold your plank here, just an inhale. Good, nice, Zoe. And then exhale, chaturanga, lower all the way through. Inhale brings us to our high cobra, nice, Bridget. And then exhale rolls us back to downward dog. 5 breaths again here. Shake out the head, do whatever you need to do to create the story that works in the mind, that leads you towards a place of happiness, right? If you're in downward dog and it's agonizing, then you can be agonized. You can stay in the downward dog for 5 breaths just thinking about how miserable it is. Or you can shift something, right? You can come to child's pose. You can shift your alignment so that it's no longer miserable. Okay? Create a different movie. Inhale high on the toes. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees, hop, step, or float the feet to the hands. Good. Inhale, we're going to find a flat back here, so lengthen. Exhale, we're going to forward fold, head goes. Inhale, let's sit into chair. So Utkatasana, press back into the heels, let the arms reach up, let the shoulders soften, let the belly engage. And then as you exhale, we're going to forward fold again. Inhale, lengthen here. Exhale, flows us through plank to chaturanga or skip it, whatever you need to do. You're in control of those thoughts. Creating a practice of happiness. Right leg's gonna lift, inhale. As you exhale, bend the knee. We're gonna round it towards the nose, step the foot in between your hands, drop your back knee. Inhale, float the arms nice and high, lift the chest, soften into your right knee, gaze up to the sky, and then interlace your hands behind your head. Let the head rest into the hands. Okay. 2 more breaths here. Good. As you exhale, we're going to round forward over the front knee. Curl it here. Hold on to this rounded spine and set the hands down, one on either side of your front foot. As you inhale, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, squeeze that left buttock. Left hand settles down, right arm reaches up to the sky. As you exhale, right hand's going to come down. With your inhale, let's bring it back to a plank. With your exhale, you decide moving through your vinyasa if you'd like, or skipping it. We have control over this movie that we play in our heads. Left leg's gonna lift, flex the foot. As you exhale, bend the knee, round it towards the nose, shift through, step the foot in between your hands, drop your back knee. Come to the top of the back foot. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, coming into that Anjaneyasana. And then interlace the hands behind the head, rest the head into the hands, look all the way up, open through the elbows. 2 more breaths. And then as you curl and round, access the upper back. And then float the hands down, one on either side of the foot. Right hand is going to stay down, curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, float the left arm up to the sky. Watching over and up towards those left fingertips, pressing through the back heel. Good. With your exhale, left hand's going to come down. As you inhale, we'll find our plank. As you exhale, we're going to lower through chaturanga, so elbows in. Inhale, high cobra, lift your chest, soften through the shoulders. Exhale, rolls you back. Downward dog, breathe. 5 breaths here. This awareness, what's going to serve me in this moment? Analysis, why, right? Am I just tired today? I need a little bit more nurturing. Am I holding tension somewhere? Is there some way I can change the pose to serve me? And then acceptance, it is what it is today. I'm going to find the joy. Inhale, high on the toes. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees, hop, step, or float the feet to the hands. Good. Inhale, we'll find our flat back here, so lengthen. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. Inhale, sits us into Utkatasana chair. And exhale, once again, we'll forward fold. Inhale, nice flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, flows us through plank to Chaturanga Dandasana, or not. What is your movie today, right? And come on back. Okay, right leg is gonna lift. As you exhale, draw the right knee towards the nose, step the foot in between the hands. Squeeze your left inner thigh, so roll it towards your midline, tucking that left hip forward, navel draws in, arms reach all the way up. High crescent warrior. Interlace the hands behind the head. Let's rest the head in the hands. Let this be a bit of a back bend here. And then we're gonna hinge forward, float the arms by the ears. So we're in this diagonal line. It's a long diagonal line. And then from here, we're gonna come into a supported warrior three. So the hands are gonna come all the way to the floor underneath the shoulders. So a little forward than you would be in a standing split. Keep the left foot flexed and facing down. Keep that left hip tucked in. Good. 2 more breaths here. Good. Bend your knee, your right knee. Walk the left hand inside the right foot. We're coming into our twist here again. And then drop the left knee down. Flatten the foot. Swing it back because we're going to float the right leg up. So we started out with the foot down. If you're there and you want to be there, you be there. Maybe your movie has your leg lifted, but is it going to bring you joy, right? Top arm over. If you're doing it to torture yourself, we're going to turn off that horror movie. We're going to go back to our, nice drama with a happy ending, right? Bad stuff happens, good stuff happens. More good than bad. Hands and knees. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale, high cobra. Exhale brings us back, downward dog. Good. Second side. So left leg's gonna lift. Flex the foot. As you exhale, bend the knee. Round it towards the nose. Step the foot in between the hands. Super important what's happening in the back leg. So we're engaging that right inner thigh and we're rolling the right hip forward. Navel draws in, right? Those hip flexors help lift us. The abdominals help support the spine. Everything's working here. And then thread the hands, maybe the alternate interlace of the hands behind the head. Let the elbows point out, look all the way up, bend into the knee. And then shoot the arms forward. So we're nice and long here. Pressing out through the back heel, reaching through the arms, belly strong. There's a long diagonal line. And then the hands float down to the floor underneath the shoulders. So we're coming into this supported warrior three. Flexing the right foot and rolling the right inner thigh in. Breathe here. So taking this opportunity to get into the left leg. What's the story there? What's the movie? Right? Is it super tight in the hamstrings and the glutes? Well, then bend the knee a little bit, right? Don't torture yourself. Don't spend 5 breaths miserable. We have that choice. We don't have to. Bend your left knee, set the right toes back, set the right hand down, float the left arm up to the sky, twist. When we practice this idea tangibly in the body, we can feel it, right? The same thing happens off the mat. We're just not as aware of it. But our thoughts create our emotions. So we're still having these visceral, tangible reactions. Drop your right knee, swing the foot behind you. This time left leg comes. Maybe the foot goes down again like we did the first time. Maybe it lifts up this time. Arm over the ear, look up to the sky, breathe. And hands and knees, chest and chin. Inhale, rolls you up into high cobra. Exhale, brings you back. Downward dog, 5 breaths here. So what do you need to do in your downward dog to create your movie, your supportive movie? Not the movie where everything hurts and you're miserable and you're just waiting for me to tell you to come out of it. Not that movie. As you inhale, come high on the toes. As you exhale, bend your knees, hop, step, or float the feet to the hands. Inhale, we're gonna find a flat back. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold. Inhale, we're gonna sit into Utkatasana, so arms reach up. And then exhale, once again, we're gonna fold. Inhale, lengthen here. Exhale moves us through whatever version of vinyasa is going to serve us as part of our movie today, our choice, our practice of happiness. Plant the left foot, so ground down through the foot, and then step the right foot forward. We're going to find warrior one, bend into your front knee, arms reach all the way up. Good, softening through the shoulders here. And then as you exhale, let's move right to warrior two. So bend into your right knee as you shift your front foot to line up with your back heel or arch. Check out that back arm, make sure it's nice and lined up with the front. We'll turn the palms up as we inhale. We'll reverse the warrior as you exhale. Good. And then windmill the hands down. So left hand's gonna come inside right foot, back heel lift, right arm reaches up to the sky. Let's find our twist. Good. And then we're actually gonna come up again. So that's where this hip action is really important. You're gonna wrap this left hip in, you're gonna squeeze through both inner thighs, the navel comes to the spine, right hand comes to the left leg, left arm reaches up to the sky. Bending into the right knee. And then left hand comes down. You decide what side plank version is part of your movie today. If you want to, you're gonna go the whole way. But any of those other versions work too. Knee can be down, top leg can be lifted. You decide, gaze up to the sky and breathe. And we'll meet in a downward dog. So in your movie script, maybe you want to skip a vinyasa. Maybe that's your practice. Second side, so we're going to plant the right foot and step the left foot forward, arms reach up, warrior one, inhale. Wrapping the right hip forward, bending into the left knee, reaching the arms up. And then as you exhale, it's warrior two. Front heel lines up with back heel or arch. Check out the back arm as it lined up with the front. We're going to turn the palms up as we inhale and reverse the warrior as you exhale. Nice long side body. And we windmill it down. So right hand comes inside left foot, back heel lift. Here we are in our twist. And we're going to put it all together. So you're squeezing the right hip, you're rolling it forward, inner thigh engaged, left inner thigh engaged, navel to spine as you come on up and float into that reverse warrior version. And then soften into the left knee. And then listen to your movie script, right? What are you telling yourself? What do you have control over in the narrative here? Exhale, bring the right hand down, left arm up, and then we decide what version of side plank we feel like today. In this moment, and we accept it. We accept what is of service to us and what isn't, and what might not be working today. The last part of this happiness practice is acceptance. So move through if you want, or just come right to downward dog. We're going to take 5 breaths here. So if you want to child's pose for a couple breaths. Offer that to yourself. Good. Okay, so plant the left foot, step the right foot forward. We're coming back into warrior one. Warrior one as you inhale. And then warrior two as you exhale. Inhale, you're gonna reverse the warrior. Exhale, you're gonna windmill the hands down and twist, or windmill the left hand down and twist. Good. Breathe here, draw the belly in, come on up, come into that reverse version. And we're gonna come right back to warrior two. So right forearm comes to right thigh and left arm's gonna reach up to the sky. This is our only Parsvakonasana today. If you've been coming to my classes last few weeks, we spent lots and lots of time in side angle. Today we're not. So maybe you wanna come to a deep version of this pose. Maybe you wanna come into a half bind or a full bind, whatever bind you want or no bind. But this is our one and only side angle pose today. So make it what it is for you, what you need. 2 more breaths here. Nice and long, rolling out through the outer edge of the back foot, lifting through the inner arch, letting this left shoulder move up towards the sky, regardless of what you're doing with your arm. 2 more breaths here. And then we're gonna float the right hand down in front of the right foot and come into our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So sometimes when we come into balancing poses, the storyline changes. There's like that judgy person, right? That judgy character. So you know it's just coming from a place of insecurity where that person is judging you, and then you realize in your own movie, it's you, right? Happiness is an inside job. We're not the traffic, right? Everybody else is the traffic and not us. Except that's not true. Bring the left hand down. So here we are in our standing split. Shake out the head. We're gonna be here a couple breaths. If you like supported warrior three, you can stay there. If you prefer to bring your hands back towards your foot for a true standing split, go ahead. Also an opportunity if you'd like for your handstand hop. I'm just gonna hop a little further back before I hop. But bring your heart forward. I like a little more space between my hands and my foot when I'm coming into my handstand hops. And just play, right? Maybe that judgy character's coming out today. You can't handstand hop. You're not going to get up. You can't hold it, right? Well, you can change the lines of that character. It's your movie. Plant the back foot down, fold over the front leg. Let the head go. Pressing into both feet and breathe. And we'll step our way back to downward dog. We're gonna do that whole thing on the second side. So plant the right foot, step the left foot forward into warrior one. Inhale. As you exhale, it's warrior two. Inhale, we're gonna reverse the warrior. Look for that left knee to bend. Exhale, we're gonna windmill, right hand down inside left foot, back heel lift, left arm up to the sky. Activating your inner thighs, wrapping your right hip in, drawing the belly back. We're gonna float into the reverse version. Really deep hip flexor stretch here. And then we're gonna find our way back to warrior two for our nice long side angle. So left forearm comes down, right arm reaches up. You decide. You wanna play with the bind. You wanna bring the arm over the ear. Really soften into your 5 breaths here. Notice the storyline, awareness, right? And we understand, as yogis, we understand that practice is not always linear, right? We'll just have that day where we're like, I am a rock star in my mat. And then a week later, you're like, what happened to me? Right? It's not a straight line. Come forward, left hand to the floor. We're in our half moon. Maybe you're noticing that judgy friend. Why can't you balance today? Right? What's wrong with you? How come you can't get your leg higher? Maybe notice that that's you judging. You can rewrite that script. Top hand comes down. We're in our standing split. So you decide you can be in supported warrior 3. You can walk the hands back towards the front. You can play with those handstand hops if you feel like it. Couple more breaths here. Whatever you feel like today. And then we're going to make our way into that triangle forward bend. Second side. So just fold over the left leg. Just fold here. And if your hamstrings are in agony, mine are pretty tight. So I have a choice, right? I can just create a horror story where I'm miserable, or I could just soften into the knee. I'm going to choose the softer course. I like that movie much better. Good. And then we're going to step the right foot up to meet the left at the top of the mat. And let's just forward fold for a moment. So walk your feet hip distance. Maybe grab your big toes. Look forward. Inhale, exhale, fold here. And breathe. Good. Walk the feet together. We're going to sit into Utkatasana again. So bring your weight back into your heels. Keep the belly strong. Float the arms up, soften through the shoulders. And let's bring the hands to the heart and we're going to twist. So left elbow tucks outside right knee, gazing up to the sky. And then we're going to lift the left foot. So the knees are together, or maybe we're coming through that flamingo. Maybe we do this for a breath or two, maybe not even, right? We're going to meet back in Pavrita Parsvakonasana, our twist. 2 more breaths. Press out through that back heel. And then just as fun as it was to go back, we're going to go forward. So step the back foot up. We're still in our twist here. And then we're going to come a little lower. So lift the heels and come into a Pashasana squat twist. So you decide from here, you stay here if you want to. There may be a couple of us that want to play with side bakasana. If you do, set the hands down. Think about your arms as if they're in a chaturanga, so you're bending them quite deeply or tucking your right elbow underneath your thigh, and maybe the feet lift. If you want to separate, go ahead. Up to you. For the rest of us, we're staying here. Just a breath or 2 more. And then we're going to reverse it. So you're slowly going to come back up, but the left hand's going to stay on the right knee, and the right knee is going to lift. Good. Left arm, sorry, right arm comes behind. Maybe if you want to, you're going to grab the foot, but it's up to you. Breathe here. And then draw your gaze forward. Lower the feet and sit into your Utkatasana. Okay. You get to do that whole thing on the second side, right? Hands to the heart, right elbow outside left knee. So the more you sit back in the heels and lower the hips down, the opportunity exists for a deeper twist. Your choice, maybe those toes lift. And then we're gonna lift the right foot. So maybe the right knee stays near the left knee. As we enter through flamingo, maybe we just wanna go right back to Pavrita Parvo. Right, and find our twist here. Same idea with the inner thighs though, rolling in, the right hip wrapping in. Good. Breathe here. Just getting this deep twist. And then just like we stepped it back, we're gonna step the right foot forward again. We're gonna be back in our Utkatasana twist. But this time coming a little lower. So lifting off the heels and into the toes, into our Pashasana. So feel free to stay here in the twist the whole time. If you're playing with the arm balance, hands come down. We're bending the elbows so that the arms are like chaturanga arms. That's how bent the elbows are. That's how close your head is to the floor. And then maybe you're separating the legs, up to you. We're gonna meet back in our Pashasana squat, twist. And then slowly as you rise up, you're gonna lift this left knee up. Left arm comes behind, maybe the hand comes to the outside of the foot, or it stays at the knee. Gaze over the back shoulder. Good, 2 more breaths here. And then we're gonna release the foot. We're back standing in Tadasana mountain pose. Good, inhale, the arms are gonna come all the way around and up. And as you exhale, it's forward fold. Inhale, lengthen here. And as you exhale, we're gonna step back to our plank and lower all the way to the belly. Lower all the way down. Good. And tuck your chin into your chest, and maybe your head comes all the way to the floor. We're gonna come into Shalabhasana. So as you inhale, lift the legs, soften through the buttocks, lift the chest, let your shoulder blades draw towards each other, let your hands hover, draw your gaze forward, breathe here. And exhale, lower it all down. Bring your right ear to the mat. Let your arms come alongside you, just wiggle out the hips. So sometimes as we release tightness and tension from the body, other storylines sort of come up. Like you might all of a sudden feel really angry or sad or scared or anxious. And that's because some of those movies that we play in the mind, they live in the body. So this is a body and mind practice, this practice of happiness. The two things are intimately interlinked with each other. Okay, let's reach the arms forward now and tuck your chin back into your chest. And as you inhale, we're gonna lift the legs, lift the chest, lift the arms, and then float those arms out to the side. So it's almost like you're swimming through the air and you're leading with your chest. Reach up a little bit higher, draw the legs up, keep those arms out to the side, nice and active. One more inhale. Beautiful. Exhale, left ear to the mat this time. And just breathe. 60,000 thoughts, 98% of them we had yesterday, right? We are definitely the star of our own movie. And we know that our beliefs and our thoughts are not always true. They're real because we feel them, but they're not always true. So press up into the hands and knees, and we'll just come back to a wide-legged child's pose. So walk your knees wide, sit back, hips to the heels, head softens to the floor. Breathe here. And then we're going to make our way to downward dog. So find your way to downward dog. Right leg is going to lift nice and high. Bend your right knee. Let the right hip stack on top of the left. But press through the right shoulder first. So first we're tracking the shoulder blades. Then we're going to lift the hip even higher. And you're going to look underneath your left arm. We're going to see if you see your foot here. And maybe we're going to flip our dog, right? Maybe we're going to flip it if you feel like it today. If it's part of your happy movie, not the horror film. And then flip the right hand back, right leg lift, bend the knee. We're going to bring it through for pigeon. So right knee comes towards right wrist, ankle comes towards left wrist. Let's fold all the way forward into our pigeon pose. Softening into the hips. So we might find ourselves in pigeon pose and the hip is really tight. So first we become aware, okay? My hip is really tight. Then analysis. Why do I think my hip is tight? Well, maybe it's because I did XYZ yesterday. Maybe it's because I haven't done my yoga practice in a week. Whatever the analysis part is, you just process that. And then acceptance. Okay, my hip is tight. I'm moving on now, right? I'm not going to spend the next 10 breaths pissed off that my hip is tight. I've done the work. I'm going to choose to be happy in the moment. That's how this process works. And boy, is it a challenging practice. One of my students yesterday at the stage treat said, but it's really hard. I said, it absolutely is. There's a lifelong practice and it is really hard. But most things worth having and worth doing and worth achieving are hard. And I would put this in that category as well. 3 more breaths here. And let's make our way back to downward dog. We'll shake out the right leg. Just shake it out. And then we'll do that whole thing on the left. So we're going to bend the knee. We're going to stack the hips. First, we keep the shoulders squared forward. The shoulder girdle. Then we're going to open that hip up. Maybe even look underneath the right arm to see the foot. So really open it, that side body that we've been cultivating today. And then maybe float the left foot down, lift the left arm forward, maybe. And then swing your way back around. And bring the left knee towards your left wrist, ankle towards your right wrist. And fold all the way down. Second side pigeon. And 2 more breaths on the side. And then let's make our way back to downward dog. Shake out the left leg. And we're going to make our way through to seated. So come into a seated position. And straighten the legs, flex the feet, seated staff pose. Arms will reach up to the sky, shoulders will relax. We'll begin to hinge forward. Maybe grabbing the feet, maybe the ankles, maybe the shins. Letting the head go. Breathe here. And then lead with the head, come on up. And bring your feet together and let the knees open out to the side. And we're gonna transition our way onto our back. So come all the way onto the elbows and then all the way onto your back. And maybe there's one more bridge pose for you in your movie today, right? Plant the feet. Maybe the star wants one more back bend. So bridge or urga, and maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just wants a little extra shavasana, right? So ask yourself what you need right now on your mat. If you're gonna do one final back bend, just ground into the feet, lift the hips up, walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Maybe bring your hands underneath your hips and press up a little more. That feels really good today. And then we're gonna lower that all the way down. And let the knees come into the chest. And just let your knees gently float over to the left. Arms in a T, gaze over to the right. So we're moving towards a happy ending. Right? We had peaks and valleys on the mat. We practiced awareness, analysis, acceptance. That's our happiness practice. Give ourselves the opportunity to understand, knees to center over to the other side, change your gaze. That we have a lot of power over the storyline in the mind. We really do. And that we're often playing out the same movie over and over again. So is it one that allows us to be happy and find some joy? Or is it that terrible horror movie? And then let's draw the knees back to center. We're slowly going to lower the legs down, arms down, coming into Shavasana. Eyes closed. Bringing yourself back to our quote today. Happiness is an inside job. So as you surrender the body, perhaps become aware of your thoughts. Maybe calling them out, naming them, analyzing them takes a little bit of steam away from them. You can get to a place of acceptance. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers, and wiggle your toes. And we'll slowly stretch the arms all the way over the head and stretch the legs. And then draw your knees into your chest. And we're going to make our way onto our right side. So just slowly come onto your right side. And then find your way up to a comfortable seated position. And bring your hands to your heart. And close your eyes. And just sit in the space that you created in the mind and the body today. I'm honored and pleasured to be your guide. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I wish you all a wonderful day of happiness. Truly. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much, Allison.
You're so welcome.